Hello, I'm Zach Gojay. I wanted to go over how to kill Mythic Silken Court as an assassination rogue. The last raid night that I had, or I guess what is it, a couple of days ago, I killed Mythic Silken Court and got a 92 parse, and then I think it's like 93 for boss damage. So I wanted to go over how I did that and the tips and tricks and things that I learned along the way from all of the, it says 190 pulls on Warcraft logs, but there's like 220 or something maybe. My in-game stuff says differently because I think there was a night that we didn't log on accident. Like I don't remember. But after 220 pulls, you make a lot of mistakes. You learn a lot of things. So here's some stuff that I can teach you on how not to waste your time and play the best you can. So these are the talents that I'm using. Starting with the first mistake that I made, I progressed a lot of this fight using Sanguine Blades. So I swapped Master Assassin for Sanguine Blades because I thought that like since it was 2-target and like I ran a sim on 2 targets, which I knew it wouldn't be 100% uptime on 2 targets because my bleeds drop off on things. But I knew it wasn't accurate with the sim on that, where it was about 1% loss in single target to run Sanguine Blades instead of Master Assassin. But then in 2-target, it was 1.4% increase to run Sanguine Blades. Something that went through my mind or like past me was the damage amp part is like, I mean, the Master Assassin is amping your highest damage points. So it just makes sense that it would do better. That was where in my Twitch chat, it was like, we were talking about Master Assassin versus Sanguine Blades, and someone told me to try out my Master Assassin, which that was Ryan. And so in my head, the Sanguine Blades made more sense, but in reality, it's like, I just kind of didn't realize about the amplifying for the damage amp. It just makes your highs even higher instead of just all the time increasing damage and then having to double during the damage amp is not as big. So that's mistake number 1 that I made. So I would tell you, don't even try Sanguine Blades. Just play Master Assassin. It's better. And then, so this is just a normal single target build, but you just swap internal bleeding for caustic spatter. The second mistake that I made was my builder prio. For some reason, I have always learned the prio for builders and stuff was Fan of Knives at 2 targets. So at the start of my polls and things, I was doing Fan of Knives on 2 targets. But the case of 2 targets is if you have Thrown Precision, which is an AoE talent that you would run to get Crimson Tempest pretty much. If you had Thrown Precision, then you do it at 2 targets. But if it's no Thrown Precision, you only do it at 3 targets. So on the Wowhead guide is what I refer to. This is the best thing ever. I think it says it in AoE priority. So down here, use Fan of Knives on 3 or more targets unless you are talented into both Thrown Precision and Momentum of Despair. In that case, you would cast it with 2 or more targets. So that's where I thought I was doing it at 2 targets because that's what I learned from Mythic Plus. So I'm like, okay, Fan of Knives, I got it mixed up. So don't Fan of Knives on this fight unless they're 3 targets. So if there's a beetle close to you and both bosses, then you do it. But just mutilate in 2 target. That was mistake number 2. Is don't Fan of Knives on 2 targets. Mutilate. Just don't Fan of Knives. Silly mistake. So let's get into the actual fight. The perspective that I have is from a red team member. So whatever team you get put on, blue team adds more, and I think red team just does more mechanics. Blue team, there's also like an amp. There's 1 extra amp that blue team gets to hit. At least in the shot that we were doing, there was 1 extra amp that blue team could hit. So this is my perspective from a red team member. So I start off with a noob on this, my mark is on a noob, and I'm going to keep the mark on a noob because he's going to be the first one with the damage amp. It's all pretty regular. One thing that I do right here is when these targets get together, I have enough time to just press a shiv here. So since the single target build just runs Arterial Precision, which is the AoE shiv, there's enough time to send a shiv before the damage amp, which you shouldn't send pot, you shouldn't send Deathmark, nothing on pull. Wait for it's about 45 seconds in is when you're going to do your CDs. You'll see in a sec. Something that you want to do as well is keep up your dots on both targets as much as you can. That just helps your energy and it just helps damage. So right here, I'm just keeping bleeds up. And then you'll see, so the charge is going out in 4 seconds, which that's when the burrow happens, is right here. So he's going to be charging soon. So what I do is I have 9 seconds left on my Groat, And almost every time I will press Garrote before it charges out. You see here I Garrote and then it goes out. Then we swap to Sky Spinner. We sit here and then I have enough time to put a Garrote on him before he jumps. I have Garrote on him. And so this is where the damage amp comes. So once the boss gets stopped by all 3 of these strands, it's going to have a 100% damage amp. So that's what we're holding CDs for. So this one, we're going to pop our pot. We're going to pop Deathmark. We're going to pop our entire CD rotation. I switch targets by clicking on the boss frame. You just want to sit here and wait. And then you just first global, Deathmark, Shiv, Kingsbane. So just as fast as you can, Deathmark, Shiv, Kingsbane. And you see we're potting here. I don't normally have this on my screen. This was because I was testing Master Assassin. I wanted to see like live feedback of the numbers. And so very regular stuff. What I did decide to do on the amp was, I don't know if it's correct, on the last 6 seconds, this is where I use my my banish. So to have the Master Assassin up for the entire DPS, increased DPS stuff is what I did instead of doing it on the end of Kingsbane, which could have been a mistake. Not sure, but I think it was better. I think it doesn't really matter, but that's what I did. So then you're going to keep your mark onto a noob still, just refreshing bleeds, using the boss frames to refresh bleeds, refreshing everything. So the second soak circle, or I guess it's technically the third one, this one I immune, so I just cloaked this one. Wait, I didn't do it on the kill. That's really awkward. This one you should immune, but I messed up. So same thing. He's about to charge, but I missed my Garrote because I'm paying too much attention to, you know, the mechanics of the fight. So I'm trying to get orbs, and then I was just too late to Garrote, which is whatever. I'm just refreshing bleeds. So this one is different. So you're gonna have 1 extra global before your CDs start because of just the timing. So you see, like, he gets knocked, and then now we have 2 seconds, or pretty much 3 seconds left on our Kingsbane. So I get to just press mutilate, then I go Shiv, then I go Kingsbane. Those globals do matter because imagine I'm at 3 seconds left on the DPS stuff, and my Kingsbane had 1 extra second to ramp. So I think that matters a lot. So then this is the first part that you want to start paying attention to. Is unlucky for me during this prog, for some reason my MRT reminders were just throwing out Lua errors. Like it was just throwing out Lua errors on this fight for whatever reason. I looked to see if there was an update for method. Nothing. I tried to make a new note. Nothing. It just kept throwing out Lua errors about timers or something. So unfortunately, I didn't have my note, which was very helpful. But this was about an hour into the night, or hour 15 into the night, where I was already like, I kept forgetting, and I was hard remembering and hard focusing on like actually switching my mark. So at this part, this is where the intermission is going to happen. I want to get Darkest Night up and then swap to Sky Spinner. I have Darkest Night. We're just chilling. I just go over here just to apply it soon, or faster, I guess. And then we do the intermission, which we're just doing the intermission. You're going to keep your mark onto Sky Spinner now for the rest of the fight. Or not the rest of the fight, the rest of this phase. So this is just very regular. You do have time. So right here, when the bosses get back together, you have time to do a Shiv. Once you get your bleeds up and stuff, you can just throw a Shiv in there. Yep, apparently I don't do it on the kill. Not paying too much attention. Maybe I'm over-focused on getting my mark up. And it's probably like a really small DPS gain. So here is where you're going to get some big damage. So we have been holding our death mark for this part in the fight. So this is going to have both bosses stacked, and we're going to have the amp, and this is also where my my raid lusts. During this damage amp, each stack that your team dispels onto Sky Spinner is adding a 25%, it's 25% or 20, something like that, damage increase to the boss. So you'll see, like on my target frame, it has the swarm debuff on it. Make sure you're targeting Sky Spinner here. And so I'm sitting here targeting. I'm getting both bleeds out though, just to have double bleeds. And then here, when my raid leader is counting down the last dispel, once he starts counting it out, which, let me put on my headset. When he starts counting it down, let me listen. So right here, so then he starts Schmeals, which he's the last person in 3. So then I start my death mark because he's counting down 3 seconds, and then the amp lasts for 12 seconds. So you see, Now I have 12 seconds left and 12 seconds left on the debuff. So that's like a good optimization for your DPS. Just remember, keep targeting Sky Spinner before the full DPS increase is up, because you're just already dealing damage, like extra damage to Sky Spinner. So this one, I don't have to like do any planning for my Master Assassin. I just do it when I regularly would be Master Assassin right there. Boss walks out of my melee range, so try to be as close as you can, like reasonably, because the boss like waddles around when it's dispelled like that. This is just the way the fight goes. Regular stuff. We're gonna get to the 1 minute after this part right here. Now we're back on to Sky Spinner. You see there's already debuffs on the Sky Spinner. We are going to be sending our Kingsbane and Shiv as soon as possible. So we're sitting here just on Sky Spinner. We're hitting Sky Spinner because this is a 40 or 50% DPS increase. It might be lower than that or higher. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a DPS increase. So hit the boss. I Shadow Step to a noob because it's on the red side, which if you touch the other side, then you just die instantly. So I just Shadow Step a noob instead of going into the middle, because there's people standing there that are waiting to get dispelled and stuff. You don't know what color they are. You don't know who could be standing there. I see a noob is safe, so I Shadow Step there. But you see, we're sending Kingsbane as soon as possible, because right there, like we were pretty close on the dispel, I think. Usually it's faster. I think that one jumped. Not sure. I have it about the exact timing on the damage amp. Then so here, we are going to be getting ready. We're going to prep ourselves to switch over to a noob for our mark. So that's why I go over and I hit Sky Spinner to get my Darkest Night proc. And then now this is the second intermission, which on this one, we're not holding DPS here. We are going to be sending our death mark as soon as we can. My team breaks the shield really fast on this one. So usually I would have my actual death mark usage here, but you know, I think a lot of the damage increase from stuff happened. So I'm just soaking and then I'm getting my death mark up. So this could be weird if the bosses are pulled differently, but we're baiting frontals on Sky Spinner and then we're going to the wall. So I got my full death mark off and it was cleaving 2 targets. That's better than it being in the intermission, not gonna lie. So then this is just fight mechanic. Right here, my team has to go out and soak these balls and then go to the... so right here, I'm also holding my Darkest Night, so I'm not sending it on to a noob, because the way that our strat is I think this is Echo strat. I don't know whose strat this is. Whatever it is, this is the Mythic Silken strat that just works, and this is what we did. So the red team in this case has to have their strands and hold them on that part. So then we're going to come out and we're going to stop the charge, and then we're going to go over to Sky Spinner. So I don't want my mark onto a noob, so that's why I held it right there. So then here, this is like mad sketch, but we need to soak these balls inside of the other team, which like I'm just inching forward around right here, very close. And so then here, I just want to get my mark onto Sky Spinner. Again, just fight mechanics. Right here, we break our strands. We don't need them. And then I'm sending this Kingsbane as soon as I could, which was later than desired, but sending it as soon as I could, which Sky Spinner has the debuff on her. I'm targeting onto Sky Spinner. Maybe delaying this all the way to this part would have been a DPS increase for me. I thought we were going to be getting later into the fight, so having my Kingsbane synced up with my death mark as close as I could would be beneficial. Like looking back on it, this would have been a DPS increase if I just sent it right here instead. Because you'll see at the end of the fight, it just dies. So boss jumps, fight mechanics. This is just pretty much, we're at the point in this fight where we're just like, do the mechanics, the boss is going to die. Then here, through the boss and keep. So this was, you know, this would have been more damage if I didn't have to do this part of the fight too. Where we have to sit out here and wait for the boss to come through. But you see, so I have death mark here. So this is like what I envisioned us getting to, like when the boss is not on 3% HP. I was figuring that we would be higher HP, and like this would be way more impactful to have this damage going out. But yeah, so I only get about 6 seconds of my Kingsbane. And then if you want to hear, let me make sure it's not too loud. Here's the nerd screams. Also just realized you can't hear that.
Oh, guys.
Kill him.
Good fucking shit.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
Let's go, baby. Get out of my face, stupid boss. Um, so that's the end of the fight. Like I said, the biggest things to take away are I would try if Method has fixed the bug with the reminders, which maybe it was just my own personal bug and I did something wrong. Which my note was working for weeks and weeks, like every single week that we'd been progging, my note had been working on this to be like, I had it set up, which I can link the MRT video in the description and like somewhere on the screen at the end of the video. But I had set up a thing that said check mark on the, like every single intermission just said check mark. It was about 8 seconds before the intermission started, so I had time to like swap my mark if I needed to, or like if I wasn't remembering it. I had in the MRT video, I added extra things that like I didn't like them. I only kept the thing that just said check mark. So yeah, this has been Mythic Silken Court, Assassination Rogue POV. There you go. The biggest mistakes: don't fan a knife to target. Don't run sanguine blades. Check your mark. If you can make a reminder, that's great. If it doesn't have bugs, that's great. I love the mythic or the method reminders. So good luck out there. If you have questions, ask in the comments. This is also, like I said, this is from a red team POV. So maybe if you're on blue team, this is a little bit different where you need to swap your mark differently because you would be starting onto Sky and Spinner. So I think at the very start, it would be a little bit different. Thank you for watching. I post a lot of Assassination Rogue content, a lot of guides, different ways, boss stuff. I have a playlist of all the boss guides that I have if you'd like to watch those. I've done pretty well this season. So if you'd like to watch that stuff, this is set to boss damage. This isn't. There you go. It looks the same. So if you would like to watch that stuff, interested in that stuff, I also stream on Twitch at ZachOJ3, and then I also stream on YouTube at this channel. So I stream Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which those are my raid nights, and I am starting prog on to Mythic Queen. So if you're interested in that, then come by, stop by. You can come and ask questions, things like that, and have a good one. Thank you.